Welcome back, guys. So in the last section we talked about the service section. We're able to complete the service section. So now we are going to work on in this lecture we are going to work on the about section. We are going to work on the about section. Let's look at our work so far. This is the service section. We're able to complete the navbar, the banner section, and the service section. So let's work on the about section. So we are going to give a comment called about section. About section. So on this about section, what we are going to do, we are going to still wrap it in a section tag as usual. So we'll call this section tag, we'll call it about section. We'll call it about us. That is the ID. So we are going to still wrap it in a container. Remember that the container help you to shift it to the middle of the website. So just use .container and press your tab. You get the class container, Bootstrap class called container. So I'm going to use H2 inside this container. I will call it why choose us, all in capital letter. So the next thing I'm gonna do here is that I'm going to go below the H2 and create my div tag, giving it a class of row. Inside this role, I'm going to create call MD6 times 2, making 12. One will be for some text and one will be for an image. So let's just look at the one that we have done. This container, this H2, we are going to give it a class. We'll call it service title. Then we'll give it a class of text center, a Bootstrap class of text center, so that it will align it to the middle. So you can see the way it is, because we use service title for this our service section as a class ID, as a class. So that's why it's also affecting the about section also. That's why you can see this design here also. So that is what we really want. So now this service section now is occupying is in the middle of the container. So this row now is going to be divided into 6 columns. So the first column of the row will be, I will use call MD6 so that it will occupy, it's divided into 12. So if I use 6, I've occupied the half of the website. So the remaining 6 will be for the image. So inside this column, the 6, I'm going to create a p tag. What I'm going to write in this p tag will be why we are different. Why we are different. Let me just give the G capital letter. So the next thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to give I will use an unorder list. The airline, I'll just write believe in doing business with us, then I will duplicate it. Believe in doing business with us. Then I'll duplicate this airline into 6 places. So let's save it and look at it. So you can see the way they are now, that is occupying the half part of the website. So the half part of it, we are going to put image here. So we'll come back to it now. We'll create another colMD. I'll use an image. The image, I name it as network. Let's save it and look at it. You can see how big the image is. So how we're going to make this image to be in order. We are going to use a Bootstrap class called ImageFluid. So we use img flood. Let's save it and take a look. You can see that it's better now. So we are not yet done. So what we are going to do next is this. We are going to give this we are different a class so that we can work on it. We can reference it in our CSS file to work on it. We'll call it about title. So I'll copy it. I'll go to my CSS file. Let's work on the about. So remember that we used to give comments. This is service section. Let's go below and give a comment. We'll call it about section. So the first thing we are going to do, we are going to work with this ID first. We are going to control the whole about section first. Let's arrange it to be in order. So since it's in ID, we'll reference it using the hashtag. So call padding button. We name it as about us, and since it's an ID, we are referencing it with hashtag. So say padding button. 50 pixel, padding top 50 pixel. So let's take a look. Let's refresh it. So you can see that it has shifted. It has some padding up and some padding down. The whole of the about section. So the next thing we are going to do is this. Let's work on the about title. The about title, which is this text here, while we are different, we'll copy it. We'll come to the CSS. Let's check if it's a class. So reference it using dots. So what we are going to do, we are going to give a font size of 40 pixels. Then the next thing we are going to do is font weight 600. The margin top 8 pixels. Let's look at it. Refresh it. You can see now it's getting better. It's bigger. So the next thing we are going to do is this. We are going to work on the, we have about us. About us, which control the whole section, and it's an ID which control the whole section. So inside the about us, so give it ID about us. So about us. The about us should enter the UL, then from the UL to LI, so that we want to work on the text. So we use the text. We say margin up and down, left and right, 10 pixel by 0 pixel. Ten pixel, 0 pixel. Then the UL. Let's work on the UL. The UL, we are going to say margin left 20 pixels, so that it should be responsive. It should not just go and attach to the wall when we view it in mobile phone. So let's refresh and see what we just did. So you can see the way it is. If you view it in a mobile phone, you can see how responsive it is. You can see how responsive it is. We'll work on this toggler later. So let's see if we still have anything to do on this about section again. So we are done with the about section. So the next thing we are going to is the testimony section. So I'll see you in the next lecture.